Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, my topic is going to discuss about this is a very, very important and a crucial topic that is all about the database. Database, as in every organization, most of the organization, they want the data to be safe and secure. Nobody wants that data to be leaked or hacked, or any person can access, or unauthorized person can access that data. So it means that data is nowadays it becomes a vital and a very incumbent in terms of accessing and usage. So regarding this, considering that point, even though in the future, a lot of organization, a lot of institutions, they have introduced this data science field, and everyone wanted to be the part of that field. So and considering the importance of this field, so I'm going to describe you some of the important things about the database. Let's consider the few of fundamentals. The topic is all about introduction about a database, usage and the benefits of database, and explain various types of the database. So I'll take you to make you understand, and here you go. As in the world, this is the most fast growing job in all over the world. We considered one of the most important field in terms of uh, if you wanted to grow in the IT field, every organization, every single company, they want have to secure the database. Even it is offline, either it is online, but it has to be maintained by each and everything. By considering this one, the 150,000 jobs is being produced in every year, and similarly, we can see the one of a job that's database administrator, database security providers, or the database data administrator. All they are having that kind of a job which they have to maintain, secure. How if there is on the network, how are you going to secure? Some of the network tactics you should also know this by before developing the networks on the database. So you must have the firewall or the antiviruses that can at least secure on the basics and the fundamentals of that database. Now, what is a database? Before I proceed to explain you what is a database, first of all, we should have to know what is a data. Data is a collection of facts and figures. I mean, like any kind of a data, whether it is a audio, video, text, or any images or anything, it considered to be a data. That is a raw facts and figure, unprocessed form. Once we put into the order, into the organized form, make it into the ascending order, or something which is the most productive one, make it into the processed, that raw form became into the form of information. So that is the transformation of a data into the workable form, which is accessible form, or into the organized form, which is information. So collection of facts and figures transformed, and it becomes vital one to use it. It is the information. Okay. So in technical terms, if I discuss this one, it's a collection of records as well. The database is a number of records, two or more than two records we connect together, or we have to manipulate together. It becomes a database. By considering this point, you can look at this diagram, and this database is just an example of the database. Look at this is all records we have. Here we have the number of records, but this record, one individual record, this is which is a combination of column and the row, it is called the record. In normal technical terms, this is also called tuple. Okay, but it's a number of records are there, that becomes a database. So at the same time, this is we have created this table in a one Microsoft Access. But similarly, if you're going to have number of tables, it becomes a relational database. If we're going to connect, associate all that tables together, accessing from the data from each table, and can associate and connect with the primary and a foreign key, that will do that in a practical form. But at least for this, you can understand how this database to be maintained and what is the record. And technically, at certain stages in the database, that is called tuple. All right. Now, this is the example of a various types of a dbms. What is dbms? Now, understanding of the database, I hope that you understood what it is. But what is a dbms? Dbms is the example, but here you have the example of some of, before I proceed, these are the common databases or dbms, those which we use in normal circumstances and organizations. Depends what kind of the organization we have. It depends like how extended data that you are using. By considering that point, you will be using any particular database. This is normally in the educational area. Microsoft Access would be preferable. It's fair enough. It's a small one. It's a very workable, very executable. You can access with any upper end, any front end tool with the VB or any other tool, which is a more frequent to use access with this. SQL would be fine. MySQL, possibly we select MySQL while you interact with the online databases. While you wanted to create a massive sort of a databases where that MySQL is very helpful. Okay, here is a DBMS example. DBMS is a software, is application or a program which basically help you to manipulate, add, edit, append, or you wanted to do any sort of a modification. That software will provide you a complete help how you going to do that entire within that database. You can do that, all those features you can apply and work on those features. So this is a one of an example of the database management system, which is dbms, technically we call that. So here we have the definition of that. Okay, moving on. So organizations, so where we those DBMS normally we use and apply. Here is one of the biggest organization in Pakistan or in the world, is a PTCL, where you can have the exchange number of contacts and details are there. You can access anytime that database to be maintained. Electricity company organization, they maintain your bills. They use to provide you the account number, and on the basis that they can create your consumption, that you how much you have consumed, and they produce the bills and they can issue you. So this is what another example where you can use dbms. And world's biggest organization, Facebook, is one of the best organization in terms of they are integrated millions, billions, trillions of accounts on an everyday basis is being created into the Facebook. So these are the just few examples that you can understand the dbms are being used in such organizations, how vital it is. Okay, now some of the another applications in organizations: airlines, railways, banking, education, telecommunication, e-commerce, human resources. Even though more than that, lot of organization where every organization is nowadays cannot even think to work without database management system. It's going to help you, maintain you, and organize you on your fingertips to access any particular sort of a data that you wanted to use it. Now, some of the very important points by considering the advantages of the database management system. Okay, like these are the few one which I have just jotted down over here: data independence, redundancy control, consistency constraint, support complex data relationship, data security features, database backup and recovery, advanced capabilities. Now let's consider the first: database independence. What is database independence? It means database is one of the best application which will not only dependent on a front end. If you are using here, it is your dbms, you are using dbms, and here you are using any particular front end VB, for example. So if you are maintaining your database over here, this can be used with any other tool. Visual C, for example, this is a Visual B. So it means this is not dependent on any front end. So data independent, it means that database is providing you to use a multiple front end tools. So it's an isolated part, it's an independent part you can use in a various front end applications. So a database is compatible. In other words, in simple words, I can say as a compatible to work in other areas as well. So it is providing you the independence. It's not depending on it. So we have to understand that is a data independence. Okay, what is a redundancy? Redundancy is providing you, is in other and simple words, is database you cannot create any duplicate records. We cannot have such feature, or it's not going to give you a kind of a facility that you can create in Excel, in other databases, or in other files, traditional files, which we can see that's a number of problems out there. You can create the duplicate records, but here in the database, any dbms tool you are using, they will not give you any option. You cannot enter any duplicate record. For that, it means that you are going to abstract the data. You're going to access easily. No similar entries would be there. You cannot find the similar person with the same ID, with the same number, with the same account, or you can't find it. Like only one person, for example, you have issued your passport, it means that a particular passport will be, that particular number is being issued to you, that can be accessed by that person. Similarly, your NIC number that has been issued to you, that it is a unique data that can be accessed. So no duplication. And those all are application which has been used in such a unique data. So it's only facility providing you one of the biggest advantage of a database, that it is not going to give you any kind of a facility that you cannot access, you cannot have the duplicate records. That's the best advantage. So these are the some definitions. Here you can find it: data independence, redundancy, and similarly we have a consistency constraint. What is a consistency constraint? In this point, we can easily understand by with this example. For example, a constraint can be applied to ensure that the marks of a student are always between 0 and 100 etc. It means the database administrator have, while you developing the database, you can have the feature where you can restrict the data, that the data can be accessed within that particular limits. For example, if you have issued the marks of the student from 0 to 100, you can input that one. You cannot exceed that. You cannot exceed 102 marks. You cannot enter it. It will not give you that kind of a feature. By mistake, we can do that with other files, but in the database, you can't do that. This is the best way, that you cannot enter, supersede, or anything which you have applied in the database and giving you the restrictions. So it means there's a no very least, there's a no chance of error you will find it in that. Okay. What is support complex? Support complex of data relationships. And the support complex of a data relationship means that we once we created association, we have a number of tables. The primary table and the master table, which connected with a lot of transactive tables. Let's show you the one of a diagram that makes you easy to understand it. And here you can find it. That would, I would say, this one, this diagram, that makes you easy to understand it. I mean, like what? That's, you have created a 3 tables: parts table, shipment table, and supplies table. You can find, look at, these are 3 tables, but in that particular table, for example, part table, if that part table have the particular ID of that part, for example, 456 is been given to the keyboard casing, and the cost is 200 rupees. It is connected with this one. This is a unique information. It's no redundant data. You will find it. Once you click it, that will show that this connected with the part number 456, similar data, and this table is connected with the supplier table, shipment table, and the supplier number, you find it in number 3. Number 3 supplier, that is connected with the supplier table. Number 3 is a Brother Hardwares, and that Brother Hardware is a unique ID, that is 3, and a 456 is the part number, that is a keyboard casing, and that quantity is basically shipped. Total is 2300. So by you making these 3 or the number of 4 tables, you can access easily, you can connect and access, and even though you can make a lot of transactions very, very faster. So this is support complex data relationships. Okay, by considering this point, I can describe you some of the data security features. Of course, without the security, data is basically like it's an open market and everyone can access it, can damage it. So the best feature, while you developed entire database, you have to provide the security. And the security data, one known authorized person, unauthorized person can access that data. Similarly, you can create the particular domains where the only the one that you have given that authority that can access it. For example, a website. Look at this website. Normally in the COVID times, we have seen a website while the student logged in. For example, student can access in their only domain. They cannot access to the teacher's domain. They cannot access to the admin domain. So that one database they are logged in, the student can access in their domain. They cannot access to the teacher or admin. Similar database, but they are basically only accessing at their domain. Similarly, the teacher can access their domain at the same time they can access, because of the database administrator or developer have given that facility that they can access to the student ID as well. Now what admin have that given the security that they can access their teacher and the student at same time. So this is one of the best in terms of you can put securities wherever on a particular domains, so but anybody can access to the right domain. So your security is an important feature in the database. That's the point number 5. And point number 6, backup and recovery in case of any catastrophic situation. If you lose your data, of course, we should have to take the backup. And the database have the best facility. It means that going to recover by itself. If you put on the timing or any particular you're going to do that in certain time, the data backup will be doing by itself. So you're not going to apply or any fix any person to do that backup all the time. You can do that by itself, automatically can be done. So recovery, it's a simple, and once you're doing the backup, can be recovered anytime. Last one, advanced capabilities. Advanced capabilities means that you can access not only offline, but at the same time you can access or create number of things online as well. So there's a lot of examples. Google or Instagram or social media is online based databases that millions and trillions of accounts being created on every day. So that's the advanced capability. Provide the advanced access capabilities for online reporting. It uses internet advanced capabilities. So this is what the all 7 basic fundamental advantages of a database. I hope that you understand it. That's all for today. I hope I'm going to quickly review what we have discussed today. We discussed about what is a database. That is what we have discussed. What is a database, the types of databases, and what database, how it looks like in the database, what is a record, and some of the features of their, where the applications, where we can utilize that database, some of examples of the databases, you can find it, and similarly the advantages of the database. And that's all for today. I hope we'll inshallah connect you with another topic on another day. Thank you very much.